with lobby group Afriforum being vocal about what happens on farms, and they've slammed the police for their lackluster approach to farm matters. Afriforum has gone as far as encouraging rural residents to take safety into their own hands within the framework of the law. Guido, Urlings, Afriforum's information manager, joining us now here on All Angles on eNCA DSTV channel 403. We're just reporting there, Guido, on this current case that's happening in Mkhondo there, that's just taking place in the Piet Retief Magistrates Court, just as one example of ongoing issues around farm matters. And you, of course, as Afriforum, as I've just said in the intro there, encouraging some of your members and rural communities to do their own bit in protecting themselves. As far as you know, as we speak, I mean, how bad is the situation in terms of there's farm killings and there's farm murders? As Pamandla Goke, my colleague, was saying, there sometimes farm dwellers themselves are killed and attacked. Farm owners are also attacked.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Moyane. That's correct. In fact, just in the last 2 months, so if I'm talking about April and May of 2021, we've seen 13 incidents take place that we would classify as farm murders, and out of those 13, in 6 instances, there was actually a farm worker that was killed by the criminals that committed that attack. The other 7 were either the farmer or the farmer's direct family members that were present on the farm. And I'm actually glad that you mentioned the incident in Piet Retief, because obviously there's two very different narratives about one of the incidents that took place there. But in both narratives, the fact that the police did not respond to complaints from the community quickly enough seems to haunt the police. So indeed, we do encourage rural communities, and that includes farmers and farm workers, to organize themselves within community safety structures that can indeed protect themselves against dangerous criminals.
Yeah, you just mentioned a number there for April and May. How many attacks have you mentioned there on farms? Or was it murders or just attacks?
That was murders. So in terms of attacks for April, we had 23 that we would list as farm attacks. In May, we had 38. And of those, there were 7 murders in April and 6 in May.
That means it's increasing, because the Minister of Police, Begitele, when he released the stats in May, he spoke about in the first 3 months of this year, that's January, February, March, 11 people were killed in 10 incidents of murder on farms and small holdings. So, and the people who continue to be murdered are farm dwellers, farmers or farm owners, and also employees. So it looks like that trend is going on. But what is your view? Because, I mean, was it last year? I think, yeah, last year, President Ramaphosa saying we cannot classify these in a special category. This is just acts of criminality. But Afriforum seems to push a narrative that says the farm dwellings, farm holdings, farmers are targeted, particularly because of race. Is that your position?
That's a position that's often presented in the media. There's very little evidence to prove that. There are a few incidents where perpetrators have indicated afterwards, when researchers went and visited them in prison, that they were motivated by political leaders making certain statements, but the vast majority indicated that it was common crime. However, the special circumstances arise out of the fact that these farms and small holdings are often located quite far from police stations. Now, we're all aware of the vast amount of murders that take place in South Africa each year, and a lot of these murders take place quite close to police stations. So even the proximity of the police doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be protected against crime. But many of these farms and small holdings are in fact many kilometers from these police stations, and also from their neighbors or other people that might be able to protect their neighbors when an attack does occur. So the circumstances in which these attacks take place warrant a specific counter strategy, because obviously the police can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, I think we'll continue to explore that. Guido, don't go anywhere. Just as we continue this focus here on All Angles this hour on what's happening in and around our farms in South Africa with that